Hey there, Algebra 2 students. I wanted to talk with you a little bit about questions from 9.3. Let's start with question 4 from the homework the other night. It says, use the unit circle to evaluate 6 trigonometric functions of theta equals 0 degrees. Right, we don't have any right triangles that have a 0 degree angle in them, right? That doesn't make any sense. But we have the unit circle. And I just posted a video about the unit circle. So make sure you go and watch that. But at 0 degrees, remember the radius of the unit circle is 1. And the coordinates of this point on the unit circle would be 1, 0. And every point on the unit circle is given, the x-coordinate is cosine of theta, and the y-coordinate is the sine of that theta. So if our theta is 0, and we know that it lies on the x-axis here at the point 1, 0, then the cosine of theta is 1, and the sine of theta is 0, right? Now, remember that cosecant is the reciprocal, right? So this would normally be like 1 over 0, but we can't divide by 0, right? So this cosecant of 0 is undefined. And the secant, then the reciprocal of 1 is just 1, right? 1 divided by 1 is 1. What about tangent? Remember, your book has this handy-dandy chart of values when r is not necessarily 1, but in this case, r is 1, and that's why sine of theta is y and cosine of theta is x. Tangent is just y over x. In other words, sine over cosine. So the y value is 0 over the x value of 1, and 0 over 1 is just 0. And the reciprocal of the 0, again, is undefined, right? So cotangent is undefined at 0. Okay. Let's move on to question 5. Question 5 also wants you to use the unit circle. Just fold this a little bit so we can get a better view. It says use the unit circle to evaluate the 6 trigonometric functions of theta at pi over 2. Pi over 2 is radians. Pi over 2 is the same as 90 degrees, right? Because pi radians is 180 degrees, pi over 2 radians is 90 degrees. And so what are the coordinates on the unit circle at 90 degrees? They are 0, 1, right? So the cosine is 0, and the sine is 1, because the y value here is 1, and the x value is 0. And so we take the reciprocals here for the cosecant, right? The cosecant is a reciprocal of 1, which is just 1. And the reciprocal of 0, 1 over 0, that's undefined, right? Undefined. And then tangent, remember, is y over x, which in this case would be 1 over 0, which is, again, undefined. But the reciprocal would be 0 over 1 for the cotangent, and 0 over 1 is just 0. Does that help question number 5 to make some sense? I hope so. Let's take a look at question number 7 real quick. It says, find the reference angle theta prime for theta equals negative 100 degrees. When we're finding a reference angle, the first thing I want to do is I want to draw the angle, an approximation of it. So this is at negative 100 degrees, right? I have a theta. Oh, the next thing that we need to do is we need to, once we draw this line here, right, marking the angle, we then draw a line to the x-axis. We're always drawing a line to the x-axis, and the angle that is, so we're making a triangle, right? And the angle that is not a right angle, but the angle that is attached to the x-axis is our reference angle. So we know that a half circle is 180 degrees. We know that this angle is 100, so that means that this angle in here has to be 80 degrees. And 80 degrees then is our reference angle, right? 80 degrees. And the book gives a way of figuring out the measure of each reference angle depending on what quadrant it is in. I highly recommend that you look that up, but it takes practice figuring out what the reference angles should be. All right, I hope this helps you in your understanding of this lesson on the unit circle and finding trig values. We'll see you next time.